Okay, so in this video we're going to do elapsed time, which is how much time has passed, or how long, once you know how long something is, what time will it end, or what time did it start, that kind of thing. So in this case, something, let's say it's a movie, Avengers Endgame, whatever. Let's say it starts at 11:05, so it's the late show, and the elapsed time is 3 hours and 20 minutes. We want to know what time it's going to end. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the starting time, which is 11:05. We're going to add 3 hours and 20 minutes to it, and we're going to write it in time format, okay? And the only time we add is when we want the end time. We subtract when we're looking for the other two things. When we're doing end time, we got to add, only then. So I'm going to add these up. 5 plus 0 is 5. 0 plus 2 is 2. 11 plus 3 is 14. Oh, but wait a minute. Unless we're talking military time, there's no such thing as 1425. Because on the clock, the highest number is 12. So what are we going to do to figure that out? Very simple. Well, I just said the highest number is 12. So I'm going to subtract 12 from the 14, and I get 2. So my real answer is going to be 2:25. And that would be the time that the movie ends. Pretty late movie. Okay, now we have a situation where I have the elapsed time, I have the end time. I don't know when it's going to start. Okay? So I have to figure out what the start time is now. So now what do I do? Well, remember, the only time I add is when I'm looking for the end time. So for everything else, I have to subtract. I'm going to subtract always the bottom first. So the 310 would go first minus the 445. I know that looks weird because 3 is smaller than 4, but bear with me on this, okay? So I got 310 minus 445. So now what do I do? Well, once again, the 3 is too small for 4, so I got to make it bigger than 4. How do I do that? Well, remember what I said before. What's the largest number on the clock? 12. I add the 12 to the 3, which would give me 15, okay? So I have 15:10 now. I know it's like military time, but that's what it would be. I know it looks weird, but trust me on this. Now I'm ready. So now I'm ready to do it. Now I treat this like a normal regrouping situation. Here's the issue though. 10 is too small for 45. What am I going to do? Well, just like I would do for normal subtraction, I'm going to regroup by borrowing from the bigger neighbor, the place value neighbor. In this case, I'm going to take an hour away from the 15. So I can put it over here. So I take an hour away from the 15, and I make it a 14, okay? Now, how many minutes are in an hour? 60. So I'm going to add the 60, remember, not 100 or 10. The 60, because 60 is the most minutes in an hour, or the minutes in an hour. I'm adding the 60 to the 10, and I'm going to make the 10 70 now, because 60 plus 10 is 70. Now I'm ready to go. 70 minus 45, if I did the normal regrouping, this would give me 25. Put the 2 dots, the colon. 14 minus 4 is 10, and that's the time that this thing started, was 10:25. And that's how I do finding the start time. Okay, so this is the last situation. I've got the start time, I've got the end time. I want to know how long it is. So let's say the movie starts at 9:50, it ends at 1:35. How long is this movie? Well, once again, I'm going to subtract, because it's not the start time that I'm looking for, or the end time, I should say. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to subtract 1:35 minus 9:50. Okay? I'm subtracting 135 minus 950. Again, I know it looks weird, but don't let that mess with you, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. Again, the 1's too small, so I have to add 12 to the 1 like I did before, and that's going to make this a 13. Now I'm ready to go. I got 13 above the 9. Again, another problem though. 35 is too small for 50, so I borrow again. I take an hour away from the 13. I make it a 12. How many minutes are in an hour? 60. I add the 60 to the 35. So that would make it 95. And now I'm ready to go. 95 minus 50 is 45. Sorry about that. And 12 minus 9 is 3. So how long is this movie? It's going to be 3 hours and 45 minutes. And that's how you do elapsed time all 3 ways, finding the start time, the end time, and the elapsed time. Feel free to replay the video if you need to.